Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is your daily horoscope for the weekend of 2nd and 3rd October 2021. But before we begin, I request you to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can be notified every time I post a video. And I do daily video horoscopes, weekly video horoscopes, and monthly sun rising sign video horoscopes. And you can watch all those on my YouTube channel. And the monthly sun rising sign horoscopes for your sign for the month of October are on my channel now, and you can watch those if you are interested. So let's talk about the astrology today, and the first thing I want to talk about happens at about 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. If you are elsewhere in the world, you can always convert the Pacific time to your time zone to know when the energy is going to happen for you. So what's happening here is that the moon in the sign of Leo is opposing Jupiter. Now, the moon in Leo has been stressed. It opposed Saturn, it squared Uranus, and now it is opposing Jupiter. And the moon is our emotions, it's sign of heart and soul, and Jupiter is the planet of blessings and optimism and hope and joy and even lessons. So, this is a moment where two things might be happening. We might need to make an emotional adjustment to feel hopeful, joyous, optimistic. Alternatively, we can learn an emotional lesson at this point that might not be an easy emotional lesson. So, those are the two possibilities, and it can also be that our emotions are magnified because Jupiter is the planet of expansion as well, and it magnifies anything it touches. And in this case, it's opposing the moon, our emotions. So, we can feel very charged up emotionally at this point as well. So, this might feel a little stressful, and that's 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. And soon after this, the moon is going to move on and it is going to sextile Mercury retrograde. And a sextile is a positive aspect, it represents an ease, a flow, and like I said, the moon is our emotions, and Mercury is the planet of our logical mind. It's also the planet that rules communication, social media, our immediate environment, our peer group, our siblings, our job, our health, our lifestyle, our diet, our routine, our exercise. So it rules a lot of things. And what's happening here is that we could feel mentally and emotionally in sync at this point, or we could begin to feel optimistic, joyous about Mercury things, perhaps something connected to a piece of communication that we have, or some realization that we might have, or something in our immediate environment has changed and that has led to some positive feeling. Because let's not forget, let's talk about this now. Mercury went retrograde on September 27th for most of the world, and Pacific time it was Sunday night. And when Mercury went retrograde, it squared Pluto and trined Jupiter. Sorry, that was a bad straight line. So Mercury here, it squared Pluto and it trined Jupiter, right? So this Mercury retrograde since September 27th or so till October 18th is about transforming Pluto, ending, beginning Pluto, Mercury things, right? Thinking, communication, our environment, our peer group, our siblings, social media perhaps, how we structure our day-to-day routine, our lifestyle, maybe something connected to our job or something connected to our health. It's about transforming these little things, which might feel a little challenging, right? Because a square does not feel very easy. But in that transformation, we do have healing, we do have a reward, we do have a blessing, Jupiter. And now the moon today is sextiling Mercury retrograde. So we might have done some inner work because Mercury retrograde is also a period of review. Things come back from the past during a Mercury retrograde. And that being said, I do want to mention till October 18th, it is not the best time to sign new contracts, start new things. Gadgets can malfunction and communication can slow down. And alternatively, if you are born with Mercury retrograde, you'll find that your communication, your thinking is clearer during Mercury retrograde, right? And now the moon at 1 p.m. Pacific time is making a positive aspect with Mercury. So it could be that we feel positive about perhaps some review process we've done, perhaps some realization we've had, or the transformation that we've been able to make when it comes to Mercury things. Of course, this process will continue till October 18th, right? And it is a good time during retrogrades to revisit projects that we started in the past, right? It's a good time for that. And that's 1 p.m. And then at 5 p.m., we have Venus here squaring the moon, right? So this is another stressful aspect, and the moon is in our heart and soul, and Venus is our love, it's our relationship, it's our projects, self-worth, values, skills, it's how we feel about ourselves. And a square is a 90-degree angle, which is challenging, right? It represents growth, it represents friction. So this is a point where we might need to adjust something, either on an emotional level, the moon, or when it comes to Venus things, love, relationships, projects, self-worth, values, skills, finances, so that we can feel good, so that we can make the adjustments that need to be made. Because a square is like a lot of intensity, it forces that change, that adjustment, and until that adjustment is made, it feels like, okay, something's not right. So making that adjustment, that change, will ease out that pressure, that friction, so to speak. And that's 5 p.m. That's pretty much it for Saturday. So I would say that at about 11 a.m. and 5 p.m., it can feel a little stressful. It might require us to make a little bit of changes and things like that. But at about 1 p.m., we do have moments of positivity, a moment of maybe feeling good about something. So it's a mixed energy on Saturday. And then let's talk about Sunday, right? Oh, another thing about Saturday, the moon will be in Leo on Saturday, right? And the Leo energy is opposing the Aquarius energy, they're opposites, right? And right now, Saturn is in Leo. So Saturn is opposing the Leo energy, and every month when the moon is in Leo, those are days that feel more intense. Those are days that feel more charged up than other days of the month. So I just thought I'd mention that. And on Sunday, what's happening is that at about 2 a.m. Pacific time, the moon changes signs, right? So this is about 2:30 a.m. Pacific time. The moon has changed signs. It's entered the sign of Virgo. And the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. And when it does, the energy in our life, the focus in our life shifts in subtle ways. Leo was all about following our heart, going after what we loved, right? Doing fun things. But that was balanced or opposed by the Saturn and Aquarius energy asking us, okay, you love this, you want this, but are you willing to work hard towards it? Are you willing to commit towards it? So that was the energy. And it wasn't an easy transit for the moon through the sign of Leo. But now the moon is in Virgo and it's a different energy. Virgo is all about organizing. It's a sign that analyzes a lot. It plans a lot. And Virgo is about our day to day. It's about the mundane. It's about making things perfect. But Virgo energy can be very stressed as well. So the moon is Virgo is about all these things. It's about work. Virgo is work. It's about health. It's about making things perfect. It's about organizing things. And if things don't go as planned, Virgo energy can get stressed, right? So that's the other side of the moon in Virgo: stress, anxiety. So that's the change, 2:30 a.m. Sunday Pacific time. And moving on, at about 8 a.m. we have the Sun Chiron opposition. Now, this is not an easy energy. Chiron is the planet of our pain, of our wounds, and the Sun is our soul, it's our identity, it's our consciousness. And this is an opposition, a stressful aspect. So we might feel some pain deep in our soul. We might feel some pain in our consciousness. We might revisit the wounds that we have, and these wounds can be connected to our identity or our relationships. Identity because Aries, Chiron is an Aries identity, and Libra because that's the sign for relationships, right? So this is the energy, and the goal here again is to integrate that pain, or move past that pain rather, so that we can feel healed in our soul, because Chiron is also healing. But the process to get there, to get that healing, to overcome the pain or the wounds, can feel a little challenging. So that's the energy, and yeah, that's the energy. And at the same time, the moon is going to square the nodes. So you can see the moon in Virgo squaring the south node and the north node, and any planet that squares the node like this gets very highlighted. So our emotions could be running very high at this point. And these emotions could very well be emotions of being self-critical, of worrying, of being anxious, of overworking. Virgo, all these are Virgo traits, right? Virgo energy. I'm not saying if you're a Virgo, you're all these things. I'm just saying that's one manifestation of a Virgo energy. Alternatively, it could be that we're really getting organized, really getting planned, and really, analyzing things and making things happen. But I do feel it is an energy that will highlight our emotions, and if we don't keep our emotions in check, there's a possibility for them to run into getting stressed or being worried or being anxious. Yeah, so this is a lot of energy. This is the most intense aspect of the weekend, I would say 8:30 a.m. Sunday morning, and that's because the sun is opposing Chiron almost exact, and at the same time the moon is squaring the nodes. So it's a lot of intensity. It's a lot of intensity. It's a feeling of feeling wounded. So just be mindful of that. And one thing I did want to mention, and I didn't, is that Chiron is opposing the sun, yes, but we are still in the full moon in Pisces energy, which is about release and letting go of the pain, of the past, of the subconscious hurt that we have. And I wanted to mention that because sun opposing Chiron can bring up more wounds, but we are in that energy that is about letting go and letting go of the pain. So this is another moment where we can really, if we do the work, let go of the pain and the past and find that healing, because Chiron is a healer, right? It's a healer. More than our pain, it's a healer, but it heals in a way that feels like we're feeling pain. So that's Chiron. And let's move on. Okay, before that, let me also mention that today is the day Mercury retrograde will trine Jupiter exact. This is a positive energy. This is a blessing when it comes to maybe a thinking, a realization, a social media, or a feeling of feeling optimistic, or all Mercury things: health, job, diet, lifestyle, routine. But the process is not complete, because Mercury here is in retrograde. Till it gets out of retrograde, we will not really know what the full transformation was, what the blessing is. So just be mindful of that. But Mercury retrograde here is trining Jupiter. So this is a positive moment, right? Positive energy. And at night at about 1 a.m. Pacific time, so this is technically tomorrow, but let's talk about it today, is what's happening here is that the moon in Virgo is trining Uranus. I think a couple of days ago it squared Uranus, which was a lot of stimulation, a lot of energy. And Uranus is the planet of sudden unexpected changes. Uranus is the planet that wants us to be our authentic self, right? And the moon is our emotions. So this is a moment where we can feel good about our emotions, and that feeling can come about suddenly and unexpectedly. Alternatively, some changes might take place in our material reality. And I say that because both these planets are in earth signs. earth signs represent our material world. So maybe some change in our material world makes us feel good. That change can come about suddenly and unexpectedly, either to our emotions or to our routine, our health, our job, Virgo, or Taurus, right? Our self-worth, values, skills, and finances. So that's the energy. It's a positive one. And that's all I'm going to say for the weekend. Typically, I give the big picture of 2021 in every video except for the weekend because I try to keep it as short as possible. But if you'd like to know the big picture of 2021, you can watch my horoscope on Monday or refer to my previous horoscope. And one thing I will mention is that the Sun and Mars are really close. They are going to conjunct soon. We'll talk about that. We also have the new moon in Libra on October 6th. So we will be building up to that. And coming into Monday, we will be in the balsamic phase of the moon, right? 2 to 3 days before the new moon. And that's a heightened process of release, subconscious release. And it can feel, the energy can feel a little draining, but we are going to build up to the new moon, so I just thought I'd mention that as well. And that's all I'm going to say. Again, Mercury is retrograde, so not the best time to start something absolutely new or sign a new contract. Revisiting things from the past is a great thing during Mercury retrograde. All right, so that's all I'm going to say. I will pick a card for the weekend and then we'll close out the reading. Okay, I'm gonna go with the top card. Alright, these cards are difficult to pick. It says solitude. I think maybe this weekend we need to take some time out and be with ourselves because sometimes solitude can be therapeutic. Yeah, and I think solitude can be important from time to time for us to connect with ourselves. So maybe this weekend, take some time out, be with yourself, enjoy your own company, and maybe something good will come out of that. That's all I'm going to say. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you all for my next video. Bye.